Cowboy Andy by Edna Walker Chandler. Andy wants to be a cowboy. Andy was a town boy. He did not dress like a town boy. He went about in a big cowboy hat. "I want to be a cowboy," said Andy. He said it again and again. Andy looked at cowboys on TV, and how he did wish he could be like them. So one day, his father said, "I will let you try to be a cowboy. I will send a letter to a cowboy I know. His name is Sam. I will ask him if you can go to his ranch." And Andy's father sent the letter. The letter went to Cowboy Sam at his ranch. "Look at this, Shorty," said Sam. "A town boy wants to be a cowboy. His father wants me to help him. What should I say to him?" "Well, say yes, Sam," said Shorty. "It could be fun." "Say no," said the cook. "It would not be fun. I know all about town boys. They do not like what we eat. They do not dress the way we dress. I would say no. Say he cannot come." Shorty said yes. Cook said no. "I know what to do," said Cowboy Sam. "We will let the town boy come. We will make a cowboy out of him. I will go and call up his father, and I will say, 'Andy can come.'" Well, Cowboy Sam jumped on his horse, and away he went to make the call. The next day, Andy was on the train. It was a long train. It went by many little towns. Andy saw hills. Andy saw woods. Andy saw farmlands and cows and sheep. Then the train came to a stop. Andy saw Cowboy Sam. How tall he was. How brown he was. "Good day, Mr. Cowboy Sam," said Andy. The big cowboy laughed. "Just call me Sam," he said, and then he took Andy's things. "What is this thing?" asked Cowboy Sam. "A horse?" This time Andy laughed. "I have my guns in there." "There are no guns on my ranch," said Cowboy Sam. "We are cowboys, not bad men. Come on, get in the car. We will soon be there." It was a fast ride. "Here we are," said Cowboy Sam. Andy looked at all the horses. Andy looked all about. "Where are the horses?" he asked. "You will see them, but not now," said Cowboy Sam. "Now it is time to eat." Andy met the other cowboys. "You do not look like a cowboy," said the cook. "You are just a town boy in a big hat. You will not like what we eat." "I will eat it and find out," said Andy. Andy took one bite, then another. Pancakes. They were good. "We had pancakes at home," said Andy. "I like them." Cowboy Sam and Shorty laughed. "Do you hear that, cook?" said Cowboy Sam. "This town boy likes what cowboys eat." That night, Cowboy Sam said, "Cowboys must get a lot of sleep. We must go to bed now." "Go to bed?" Andy said. "At home I look at TV at night." "What do you see?" asked Cowboy Sam. "Cowboys," said Andy. Cowboy Sam laughed. "You will see a lot of them here. No TV for you. Now, to bed." The next day, Andy was up with the sun. Cowboy Sam laughed when he saw him. "Cowboys do not dress like that," he said. "Here, put these on. Then come with me. I have a lot of things to show you." "This is one of the things I want to show you," said Cowboy Sam. "It's a little horse," Andy said. He will be just as little when he is old," said Cowboy Sam. "He's a pony." "Well, I never saw a pony before," said Andy. He never saw a town boy before," said Cowboy Sam. "Do not go up to him too fast, Andy. Pat him first. He will like that. Andy gave the pony a pat. The pony let Andy pat him again and again. "He likes you," said Cowboy Sam. "And I like him," said Andy. "What do you call him?" "We call him Spot," said Cowboy Sam. "You can see why. He has so many spots." "I'll put a saddle on him," said Cowboy Sam. "Then you can ride him." "Now, get up in that saddle," said Cowboy Sam. "I get on him this way," said Andy. "I saw it on TV." Cowboy Sam laughed. "Then up you go," he said. And up Andy went, up into the saddle. "How do you like it?" asked Cowboy Sam. "I like it," said Andy, "but it's funny. I bump up and down in the saddle." "Just go up and down with Spot," said Cowboy Sam. "Then you will not bump." In a day or two, Andy could ride. Soon he could ride very well. One day, he ran Spot all day long. "Boy," said Andy, "I can ride. I know all about it now. I will soon be a cowboy. What a day!" But oh, that night, his back hurt. His head hurt. He hurt all over. Why, Andy could not sit down. The cook laughed at him. Andy did not like that. "I will show that cook a thing or two," he said. One day Andy came up to Cowboy Sam. "What is this?" Andy asked. "Are you about to cook something?" "No," said Cowboy Sam. This is how we brand a calf." "Look, Andy," said Cowboy Sam. "This is the brand of the ranch. All ranches have a brand. The brand shows the calf is from this ranch. If he runs away, then we can get him back. Go now and get a calf, and then we'll brand it." Away went Andy. "Come on, Spot. Help me find a calf to brand." Andy rode fast. He had to get a calf. Now was the time to show Cook that he could be a cowboy. Spot went fast. "Not so fast," called Andy. But Spot did go too fast, and Andy could not hold on. "Stop, Spot! Stop!" called Andy. Away went Spot. Down went Andy. He went down, bump, thump. "Oh," said Andy. He got up. He shook himself. "This would give Cook a laugh," he said. "It is good no one saw me fall." But someone did see Andy fall. Cowboy Sam. "Are you hurt?" asked Cowboy Sam. "No," said Andy. "You want to get a calf now?" asked Cowboy Sam. "Yes, I do," said Andy. "Come on." Soon they saw a calf. The calf ran away. "Look at this. See how I rope him," called Cowboy Sam. "Then you can do it too." In no time at all, Cowboy Sam roped that calf. Andy roped the calf too. "Good, Andy," said Cowboy Sam. "Now we will take him back. We will take him back and we'll brand him." They took the calf back. They put on the brand. "Now, they were all done for the day," said Cowboy Sam. "Now we can go to the ranch house now." Cowboy Sam went fast. Andy went fast too. "Come on, Andy," Cowboy Sam said. "We have to let Cook know what a good cowboy you were today." When Andy got to the ranch, Cook came out to see him. "Andy," said, "I hear you can do a lot of things like a cowboy. You know how to ride, you can rope a calf, and brand him. But I bet you could not win a prize like this at the rodeo." Then Cook laughed at Andy. "Let Cook laugh," said Andy to himself. I will show that Cook a thing or two. I will find out all about that rodeo, and somehow I will win that prize." "Now, about the rodeo," said Cowboy Sam. "There are two prizes you could go after. First, there is the stake race. See this stake? You have to ride by 4 stakes like this and not hit them. Come, I'll show you." Cowboy Sam rode by one stake. Andy rode after him. They rode by all 4 stakes. Not one stake went down. That was good, called Cowboy Sam. Now do it again. Ride fast. You will have to ride fast to win a prize. Andy rode by the stakes again and again and again. Next, Cowboy Sam had Andy get on a calf. See how long you can hold on, said Cowboy Sam. To win the calf prize, you will have to hold on a long time. Andy got on the calf. The calf went this way, then that. Then the calf went one way and Andy went the other. How Cook laughed. Andy will not win that calf prize. Not a town boy like Andy, he said. Andy could hear what Cook said. But I will try. Oh, I will try, he said to himself. Andy did try, day after day, day in and day out. Cowboy Sam was there to help Andy all he could. At last, the big day came. Andy, Cowboy Sam, and Cook went to the rodeo. On the way, Cowboy Sam said, Andy, do not be sad if you do not win a prize. It takes some cowboys years to win a prize. Just have a good time. I will have a good time, said Andy, but I will have to try to win. Well, the rodeo was big. Andy looked about. There were so many, many things to see. Horses, cowboys, and there was a band. The rodeo man was out on his horse. The rodeo was about to begin. Hear this, called the rodeo man. Get set for the stake race. Boys and girls, to the stake race. Get on your horses. The stake race was on. And Andy, a town boy, was going to be in it. A girl was in it too. She rode by all the stakes. She did not make one of them fall. She is good, Andy said to himself. Will I be as good? Well, soon he would know. Andy was next. He got by the first stake, and he got by the next stake. Good boy, Andy, someone called. Who was that? Andy looked up. He should not have looked up. The stake went down, and so did Andy. He was not hurt, but now he could not win the stake race. Andy was out of the race. Cowboy Sam and Cook ran over to Andy. I said you could not win, said Cook. You could not win anything at all. Well, he could win the calf prize, said Cowboy Sam. I can try, said Andy. Andy saw the first boy come out on the calf. Up, up, up jumped his calf, and down went the boy. Then another boy came out. Up, up, up jumped his calf, and down he went too. Andy was next. Could he hold on to his calf? He had to. He had to show Cook that he could do it. Andy came out on his calf. His calf jumped. It ran fast. It went up. It went down. I must hold on, Andy said to himself. I must show Cook that I can. He did hold on. He did. You win, Andy, called Cowboy Sam. Then Cook ran up to Andy. Let me be the first to shake your hand, he said. You sure showed me a thing or two. You showed me that a town boy can be a cowboy. From now on, your name is Cowboy Andy.